little bit of AEW, not a lot. Just enough to remind me why I don't watch it. Oh, this is already funny. Just the headline. The list of moves and actions that are now banned from AEW or need to be approved by the company.
Maybe that's why Nash is pissed off, because he went for Rock and Austin and not try to duplicate him.
Well, it'd be easier to duplicate him. You only have to learn 5 moves.
Like you said, and we've all been saying, Tony Khan, you need a hierarchy. And he gets one, and then we make fun of it.
Because he's sitting back there talking about the Brock match, and finally we had a wrestling match. Finally we got 2 guys telling a story. They weren't outside in the ring the whole time. One of them
was he not watching the same match as we were?
Yeah, those games, man, I would say, like, for me, like, the best ones, I would say, are, like, the ones where they try to get a certain, like, time.
This is my entire IT team right here on screen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's WrestleChat with Big Richard. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a minute. This is WrestleChat, and before we jump into it, condolences going out to one of the content creators of the 2K franchise, a guy who put out a lot of really, really good content. Now, I've got some questions that maybe somebody out there will be able to answer, but it came up on his Twitter earlier. I think a cousin of his posted that DX for Life, that's DX the number 4, LIFEE, is no longer with us. And you can go check out the page and see the information that has been posted, but very tragic situation there. And I definitely recognized his name, and I was trying to remember which creations. I right now have the community creation tab up. I did the search under his name, and it pulls up the content that he's most recently posted, which is 4 Japanese stars, Akira Toa, and sorry if I'm getting names wrong, I don't follow Japanese wrestling, Toshiaki Kawada, Mitsuhiro Misawa, and Kenta Kobashi. That one I know. So he just recently posted those up. But the reason I'm asking is it doesn't come up as creator DX4 Life, which I think I've got, I've in the past had somebody with that handle, I think, but I can't get a creator to pop up with it. However, the creation name that pops up under these 4 in particular is for By God, and then it's got a number after it. So I'm pretty sure BAHGAWD. And that name I totally recognize. So I'm not sure if it's one and the same or if it was a collab or what the deal is. But I do know those 4 particular characters, which are the most recent, are the most recent posts he has on X. I guess we'll call it X now, even though I still think it's Twitter. So to the family, condolences go out. Times are tough now. People just are dealing with a lot of stuff, and unfortunately, sometimes they don't deal with it as well as they should, the way we would hope that they would. So there's that. Sorry to start things on a down note, but I definitely know I've used the guy's content in the past, and when I saw that, I was kind of a little crushed a little bit inside. We're going to move on. Again, if anyone can validate whether or not By God is the same, BAHGAWD is the same person as DX4 Life, I'd like to clarify that, because I don't want to give out bad information. Certainly don't want anyone to think the other individual is gone if he's not. But that's what pulls up under the tags that he put down on the image on his Twitter X account. All right. Moving back into the other topics that we're going to discuss today. You know me, I don't like to fly solo, so please help me welcome the one, the only, J-Rocks. And obviously it's been a minute. Say hi, Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Yeah, there's the background. I was going to say it's been a minute, so I'm rusty and I didn't get everything set up properly, but tis what it is.
Yeah.
So, let's see the chat. Maybe somebody has something going on here. Helen along. Welcome aboard, Keith O'Toole. Good to have you guys back again. Yeah, we're going to talk about the band in just a minute here. Dun, dun, dun. Just trying to see if anyone knows. Kevin. Oh yes, Kevin Sullivan was another one we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, it's never a good time, is it? Yeah, he'd been. Now, I did a lot of research, couldn't get an answer, and apparently nobody seems to have the answer. He suffered a serious injury at an autograph signing, but nobody has come up with any information as to what the heck does that mean. What happened? I mean, how much can you get hurt in an autograph signing?
Well, it was Kevin Sullivan, and he wasn't quite stable. So, I mean,
I'm almost wondering if like one of his old rivals came up and hit him with a chair. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's all possible, you know. You haven't heard either, though?
No, I haven't.
All right. Let me try and fix this light. No, that's not fixing it. There we go. Bring it down a little bit. Too much brightness. Yeah, so Kevin Sullivan was another one of those things we were going to talk about. When I heard the news, I was a little surprised. I mean, you know, he's getting up there in age, but he was in the ring still periodically in the last year, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, not like wrestling.
Yeah, he did a couple like independent shows and stuff, and
right.
It wasn't anything major. I think one of them was a tag team he did, and the other one might have been like a singles, or maybe like come out and interfered or something like that. So, you know, but it wasn't like it wasn't like Ric Flair in his last match, how he fucking looked and shit. Kevin could actually still go a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing. Flair looked like he was going to die in his last match.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Joe Biden looked at him and said, "Hey, dude, take a step back." Let's see. Juan Cordero in the house. Welcome aboard, buddy. The Discord link isn't valid anymore. That's weird. I'm never on Discord anymore. I'll be honest with you. I don't deal with it at all. I might have closed it out.
Oh,
I probably did, to be honest with you. I wasn't using it anymore, and now that we're not doing the collector stuff anymore, I just don't have a use for it. So I'm pretty sure that's why that's not working. I don't recall turning it off. That doesn't mean I didn't.
Right.
Got too many different things floating around in there, including this. D-Train is in the house. Welcome aboard, D-Train. What's happening, my friend? Glad to have you here with us. The new Roman theme song. I'll be honest with you. I don't have any real agenda for today. We're just going to cover some topics, so we'll float around a little bit. I don't watch wrestling anymore. I just don't watch it anymore. It's time that I don't have to spend on that. I will watch highlight clips on YouTube. So whatever the WWE puts up on YouTube, I will watch that because that's usually the best part of the 3 hours anyway. And I'm saving myself about 2 hours and 45 minutes that way. And that's just on Mondays. So I don't recall hearing the music. I mean, I heard that intro thing, that kind of thunderous bass sound that normally introduces him, but I didn't hear the music itself, that it's all different. But I also wasn't paying attention to that.
Yeah, because when he came out at SummerSlam, he came out to the music he's been using. This one is kind of like what they did with The Rock when he became the final boss. They tried to rock it up a little bit, and not for
Kinda
nothing.
sucked,
They need they need to fucking do away with this Def Rebel bullshit and go back and get Jim Johnston, or just fucking pay for actual goddamn bands to play and for these people's theme musics again, because this shit he's like, out of all the shit, the songs he's done, I think I like LA Night and I like LA Knights. That's it. I
See, I like Cody's.
But Cody's is an actual band who does his.
I'm
not
just saying, I
Def
like Cody's
Rebel.
music.
Right. But I'm talking about all the themes that Def Rebel has done. The only one that actually sounds pretty decent is LA Knights. It's the only one that's catchy and stands out. Everything else is generic bullshit.
Well, now they got Joe Henry on the roster. They can have him do everybody's music.
Yeah.
Say his name and he appears. This is Seth Rollins. I remember the Dungeon of Doom as well in the WCW, and I do remember Kamala being brought back, and I'm thinking to myself, good Lord, I was afraid of him when I was a child. How old is he now?
Right.
And Shark was, I don't, geez Louise, you have a legitimate sumo wrestler with a background with the WWE, so he's easily recognizable. You couldn't just come up with a fake name that sounds more ominous than Shark. John Tenta doesn't put the fear in anybody, okay? So you got to get rid of that name for the purposes of pro wrestling. But I mean,
Yokozuna was already taken, so.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you should have had a brain there somewhere that could have come up with a better name. And God knows the gimmick, you'd have been better off being John Tenta as a person. Just give him another name.
Yeah.
And it's funny you bring that up because I was just watching the other day some old, see, when I say I don't watch wrestling, I don't watch today's wrestling. I was just watching some old WCW from the Nitro collection on the network, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to skip the beginning year because it was bad. Most of it was pretty bad. But I'm going to just get to the part where Hall makes his entrance and all that. And I'm watching the whole episode. I remember kind of when he came in, and there's this one match taking place with two guys that I couldn't possibly remember if I had to. And I'm like, the hell's with these two idiots? And I'm like, oh, this must be where he comes in. And sure as hell, after they go through a commercial break, though. So they did a good job of swerving you. I mean, they went through a commercial break. One of them was one half of the Beverly Brothers, but now going under the Mauler or some bullshit name like that. And the other dude looked like Dunn from Well and Dunn's with the blonde long hair. Maybe it was him with another name.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Don't recall. But all I know is I'm watching this crappy match. And then I see Hall, and you can now watching it back. I mean, you see him coming down the stairs long before he gets to the guardrail and anything like that, because you know what to look for now.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, the reason I brought all that up is earlier in the episode, Shark is there, and he had just been excommunicated by Kevin Sullivan, but that happened off camera. And Mean Gene, God, I didn't realize how annoying Mean Gene really was, but he was. So, Shark, what's going on with you and the Dungeon of Doom? And it's like, I'll tell you right now, Mean Gene, they kicked me out. Are you saying they kicked you out? He just said it. Are you fucking deaf? We all heard it. Just give him the damn microphone. I know he's standing a foot and a half over you, but the words should carry, you know? I was never a huge Mean Gene fan ever. I always thought he just shouted at people all the time, even back in the early WWE, WWF. I'd be talking to my friend Saturday after we'd watch wrestling, go out there. Why is he fucking yelling at everybody? Is he hard of hearing? So that's my take on Mean Gene.
Yeah.
Giant screen, look at you. Well, I'm looking right now, and I think it's a 32-inch screen in here, so you're probably doing better than me. Don't forget Zodiac. Believe me, everyone, including Ed Leslie, would love to forget Zodiac. He's actually done like electric stimulation to try and kill that part of his brain that remembers that.
Need to go back and watch this stuff now again. Jesus.
Nah, you don't need to watch that. Nobody should watch Zodiac. That's like I said, that's why I fast forwarded.
Well, I'm talking about the Dungeon of Doom stuff. Back from like the Halloween Havoc and everything.
It was bad.
It was, but it was good bad. It was good bad.
That it was, man. You had Earthquake when he wasn't Earthquake anymore. You had Kamala. You had Meng, I believe, right?
And you had Paul White as the Giant.
No, was he part of the Dungeon of Doom?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was he? Okay, well, that was the only thing you had going for you then.
I think they brought him in last, but
Like I said, they didn't need to give him a wacky name. They could have just given him a real, Max Kester or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Come up with some kind of name. I was watching the biography on Damian Priest. Have you seen it?
Oh, I watched that too. Yes. Excellent.
Where he talks about how he came up with the name.
Yeah.
Which I always kind of wondered myself. I had presumed that it was more a corporate thing and all that because they had that habit of just putting names in a blender and whatever comes out is what you are. Remember how close The Undertaker came to becoming the Eggman?
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, no, but apparently, if you don't know, spoiler alert, Damien was the name that his mom wanted to give him, but dad said no because the Omen movie had just come out or the sequel had come out, whatever, and he's not going to be named after the devil. So they ended up making that his middle name instead. And then, he's thinking, well, technically it's like the devil's name. What's the opposite of that as a priest? So, and he liked Judas Priest was his first theme song when he was in the Indies.
Right. Yeah.
So
because
that's where the name.
Because he came out to Judas Priest actually when he was still in ROH. Of course, I always liked the name Punishment Martinez too that he used there. So.
Yeah, Paul White was part of the. Yeah, I remember him going after Hogan and Hogan throwing him off the top of a building. Did I mention how bad WCW was? Pretty fucking bad. Monster trucks. I mean, it was just. They out WWF'd the WWF, and nobody should ever do that. Next thing you know, you're going to pull Doink the Clowns out your ass. All right. We can bounce around to other subjects as well. Like I said, I don't have a set agenda. The ban I'm talking about, I had posted something on the channel, I don't know, several weeks ago, regarding Twitter X and the fact that it's not the first time they've done this. I just got to the point where, fuck you, I'm not doing it. So it's okay for Twitter to post the most violent videos you'll ever see on the internet. They will show people getting killed. Yeah, literally getting killed. You'll see 3-on-1 in a high school or middle school bathroom beating the shit out of some kid. You will see a girl walking across the street getting smacked down by a pimp. I mean, they will show you the most violent shit in the world. And on this particular occasion, what are they showing? They're showing a biological man in the Olympics in a boxing ring beating the shit out of a girl who had to quit 46 seconds in after she worked her whole life to get there. What did I post that was in breach of their terms? I posted, I hope one of the male boxing athletes over there punches him in the jaw and puts him in the hospital for the length of the Olympics. Didn't say I want him dead, and I didn't say for someone to do it. I said, I hope it happens. And they said, we are banning you, terms of service, violation, or you can appeal it. Normally, I just accept it, let the clock start ticking. And I said, fuck you. You can take it and shove it up your ass. And literally what I wrote to them in the response. I said, you guys are going to post all this bullshit on here to get a trigger out of somebody. And then when we post something back, we're the ones? Not for nothing. And that's another thing we're going to talk about separately. For some of you, I know Jay knows, and some of you may remember, I had this other channel going over on Rumble, which I didn't stay with because to start up a whole new channel on Rumble was a joke. And it just doesn't have the audience. I was wasting my time over there. But I will be bringing Amendment 1 to this channel. It's a whole separate feature on this channel. If you don't like the politics, you won't like that. So you can just skip ahead to the next wrestling one that comes up. There's probably going to be a lot more on Amendment 1 in the near future than there will be on WrestleChat, just letting you know. There's stuff out there, and I know there's a lot of people that watch his content, and I have friends that would say the same thing I'm about to say. I don't pay attention to politics. You fucking better pay attention. You better start paying attention, get an education, because shit's about to get real. It's already got real. I mean, they tried to kill the guy, right? It's an inside job. Everyone with a half a brain knows it. Anyway, that'll be on the other program. When you see Amendment 1, just know that's what we're talking about. And if you're not into politics, just skip along. Or stop in, check it out, and get some information, because that's only going to help you. But I get that I spend a lot more time getting that information than the average person in a day than the average person does in a month. But it's that serious.
So all the people that posted about God, they should have had a better shooter so they wouldn't have missed Trump can be there. But you say somebody needs to punch this wannabe chick in the face.
Yep.
And you get banned.
So like I said, it said or you can appeal it. So I said, this time I'm appealing. Fuck this shit. I don't care how many weeks it takes. And in my mind, I said to myself, here's what's going to happen. It's generally a week ban. Okay. I've done this 2 other times prior for similar. I mean, what I'm saying is nothing compared to the content that you're allowing on your platform. Not even close. And not for nothing, Elon, you bought the company so that people could have free speech again. Remember that? And then I see you with Donald Trump last night, and I know why the problem is. The problem is he fired everyone. So all of these terms of service agreement violations is because some bot read a violent word, punch in the face, and decided that's a ban. Or you can appeal it. Problem is, you're appealing it to who? You fired everyone. No one's looking at appeals. So after the week runs by, then they'll lift the ban. But it's never appealed. I never took the post down. Now, of course, they blocked the post automatically. But in my reply on my appeal, I said, listen, I'm tired of this bullshit. You talk about having free speech, yet you silence free speech. You allow violent content on video to be posted over and over and over again. Nudity, blatant nudity, over and over and over again, where kids can see this crap. How many friggin' times do I got porn people trying to get me to be a friend or trying to follow me on Twitter? I got to delete 6 a day. And believe me, I don't need porn, okay? I don't get this shit. And I just say that I want a guy to get punched in the face by a guy in a boxing ring with gloves on. And I'm in charge. Oh, fuck off. Now you got me wound up. So I'm listening to last night, and part of what Trump said this in the past too. I'm going to hire Elon to clean out the government because we are so oversized in government. It's not funny. That's why taxes are through the roof. That's why our friggin' debt is insane, because we got all these friggin' people there with hands in our pockets that shouldn't even be there. Look what friggin' guy in Argentina's done since getting in there. And he's another Trump type. I mean, he's a little wild, a little crazy, former soccer player, but he gutted the government, and they're already seeing instant relief.
Yeah.
Day one, he went out there with a pad or something like that with all the names of the different bureaucratic agencies. This, gone, this, gone, this. And he literally just fired all the fuckers.
Yeah.
Because you don't need them. So Elon would be in charge of going through our government and saying, fuck you, like he did with X, Twitter. My only problem is, Elon, you did such a great job. If you fire the whole damn government, who's going to answer our questions? The same way that there's no one there to take your appeal? So fix your own shit before you're going to fix someone else's. That's my message to Elon Musk, who I generally like. I know it doesn't come across that way right now, but he's earned that. All right, that was about the ban. Anyway, it's lifted. I have never got any response to my appeal. I never removed anything. Of course, they did. And I never got anything other than you're good to go. Then, of course, here are the terms of service. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck off. Have you heard what's going on in England when it comes to free speech on the internet?
Yeah, I know they've sent some. What was it? What was the last thing I saw?
They're arresting people now if you post something that they consider to be violent. Who's they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like looking at art. I mean, so technically they could arrest me if I were in England based on what? That post I made? So now what you've done is you feared people into not posting. So that is silencing free speech. Mm-hmm. You can't walk into a theater and yell fire. We all get that, unless there is a fire. But to turn around and say, hey, this guy hitting this chick in the boxing ring, the Olympics, he needs to get his butt kicked. I'm sorry. You can't equate that to violence.
So that's what it was. That's how I came across that. This whole issue is I follow Steve Inman. And
who's this?
Steve Inman.
I never heard the name.
He posts like fight videos and stuff like that and things and everything, and he'll do like an overlay of his voice, like doing like commentary, boxing commentary for it and stuff. Shit's funny. But they went and started censoring his videos over there because they're in violation of their violent rule and stuff. So that's how I came across it.
Got you. Judd, I have no opinion on the Olympics. I refuse to watch. My opinion is there should never be another Olympics again. There's no point in it. It serves no purpose whatsoever. Have a national version if you want to, which we kind of do. I mean, that's how you qualify for the Olympics, right? But there's no reason to go overseas and deal with. I mean, look at the conditions we've had on these most recent Olympics in the last 20 years. No running water, sketchy electricity. They're just shitty housing situations in most of these cases. For what? We already know the U.S. is going to take the most gold medals at the end of the day. There's no surprise there. We're probably going to win basketball 85% of the time. And now we've got athletes kneeling. Fuck off. And then, I mean, I did not watch. I swear by that. I have watched 0 Olympics. But you couldn't not see the opening ceremony because it was all over Twitter. It was all over YouTube. It was all over social media, period. And as soon as I saw about 30 seconds, I was done. And imagine, people have said it, and I said it in my mind right away. Try that shit with the Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
Do that kind of shit with Allah and see what happens. Our problem is we've been too damn nice. We've allowed the crying children to cry in the corner and let them cry it out. Problem is they haven't cried it out. And because they haven't got their cookie still, now they're starting to amp things up to the point where you got to smack them upside the head. Yes, that's violent. If I actually mentioned an individual to go smack, which I didn't. I can assure you between now and Election Day, I am sure this channel is going to be at the very least suspended.
Well, at least we got a heads up and a warning for it. So,
Miracle X, how you doing? Yeah, I can't support athletes in general right now, and it's sad because they're not all taking a knee, and they're not all becoming. I saw another LeBron video just before we went on here where a kid was trying to get a selfie with him. And he's like, "Hey, don't do that! Don't do it. Fuck off, you big piece of shit."
The best thing that happened was that Caitlin Clark wasn't allowed to go for the women, so she got to avoid all this bullshit.
By the way, I wouldn't know. How'd the women do?
They sucked balls.
Did they win?
No.
Ah!
God, no. They got fucking
the
trained.
U.S. women's team couldn't win a basketball?
No, because they left the best fucking player at home because they were fucking racist and
I thought they'd still win, though, to be
shit.
honest with you. I didn't think there was So what team beat them?
I don't know. I just know they didn't get very far.
All right, whoever's in the chat that has the answer to that question. A, how far did they make it in the tournament? Did they at least make playoff bracket? And B, who eliminated them? Or if they didn't make playoff bracket, who beat them?
How much you want to bet it was Russia that beat them?
Well, you know what? They got some big chicks over in Russia.
Yes, they do. Legit chicks, not these beefed up men on fucking whatever.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, Caitlin Clark, it's sad that she's dealing with what she's got to deal with, but man, she is handling it like a champ. I love this girl. If I was going to watch a WNBA game, which I coached girls basketball for 16 years, okay? I love girls basketball. It is played the way it's supposed to be played, below the rim, as a team concept, okay? And women are much better players as a team than men are, period. Any sport you want to talk about, there are some guys that are team players, but at the end of the day, I want to see what I can do. I want to get my highlight on ESPN. Not that anyone watches it anymore, but the I in team is definitely in most male sports. Not counting tennis and golf, where it is pretty much you.
Right.
But all these other sports, it's pretty much, the guy, whereas girls don't really give a shit too much for the most part. But these WNBA bitches, ooh, they don't like Caitlin Clark. And let's call a spade. She's a white heterosexual, and we can't have it.
Who can play? There ain't another woman in that. There's not another woman in that league who can shoot fucking 3-pointers from the men's 3-pointers and make it, not the fucking women's.
And she's killing her. And then when you go out to cover her, she just takes you to the hoop.
Yeah.
As a rookie. And what I love, and I used to be a Diana Taurasi fan. That was back when I was watching still. You know, she came out of UConn. UConn was my favorite women's program. And, you know, Taurasi, I was behind her back at that time. You had Becky, what was her last name? Not Lynch. Hamill. Becky Hamill. Played for the Liberty for a bit. Little point guard, little blonde ponytail thing. But boy, that girl's a great player. Also got held out of the Olympics when she should have gone in.
Right.
So it is what it is. But at the end of the day, Caitlin's like, okay, so I'm not going to run across the globe, and I'm not going to run the risk of injury. And I'm sorry, I just signed a shoe deal. Which one of you bitches has a shoe? Oh, nobody. Oh, shit.
Well, that's the thing. She came into the WNBA out of college with that shoe deal.
Because she's fucking good. And she's
Yes.
the person whose face you want on your product. She's not going to embarrass you.
Well, I mean, I can't stand LeBron. I cannot stand him. And he's a hometown boy. Can't stand his ass.
He's a piece of shit.
But the things he said about Caitlin Clark is spot on. He basically said, he's like, you girls need to stop being petty bitches because you have charter planes now because of Caitlin Clark. You have
100%.
people coming to the arenas to see you play because of Caitlin Clark. You are getting more money now because of Caitlin Clark.
Too stupid for their own good. Just too stupid.
Right.
And what I love, though, is the people that were most outspoken, the other rookie that came in with her for the other team that they've got the arch rivalry. She's got the long eyelashes.
I can't think of her
girl.
name.
I can't remember her name now.
Right.
She's pissed because she was supposed to be the super rookie in her world, and then all of a sudden Caitlin comes along. And then Diana Taurasi was the other one. There were many others, but those were the two most outspoken who I felt were kind of mean in what they were saying. And to see Diana Taurasi get lit the fuck up, again, didn't watch it, but videos are all over YouTube, man. This girl's hotter than fire. And watching her light up Diana Taurasi, I'm just like, in your face, bitch. All right. Thoughts on the upcoming AEW All-In pay-per-view? Keith, you know me, buddy. I don't have a clue. I don't watch a second of that. I won't even watch highlights of that. I absolutely despise everything about AEW. I got nothing to give you on that one.
Okay, so I guess they did win the gold. They beat France to win the gold. But
they did win it?
by 1 point.
By one point? It sounds to me like they could have used a good outside shooter.
Yeah. You think?
I'm pissed now that France didn't win. No, I'm serious. It would have been awesome if they would have won by 1.
Yeah.
Especially the hometown.
Maybe that's where I got it screwed up, was because I thought I might have read it backwards. So, but yeah, I mean, still to win a gold medal by 1 point. What's that say? Your people
you need an outside shooter.
Yeah.
God, I'm so pissed off France couldn't have won that game. But thanks for the update, Darth.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. What else did we have here? All right, so you're asking about AEW. I got nothing for that. The Germany thing, Bash in Berlin. It's the same old thing I say all the time. Why am I going to watch a program when I already know the outcome? It's like watching a movie, but you just told me the ending. Does anyone really think for a second that Randy Orton's walking out of Berlin with the world championship? Of course he's not. There's no chance in hell. Zero chance of him walking out with that belt. Why would I watch the match then?
Yeah, I mean, from a booking standpoint, it's the perfect person for him to wrestle against because
it's a good name.
To solidify Gunther right from the start, he beats the Legend Killer. Multi-time heavyweight and world champion. I mean, it's good for the business. But yeah, you're right. He's not going to walk out with the title. Same as fucking Kevin Owens ain't going to walk out with Cody's title. And so it's just.
Exactly. Why am I watching again?
Because they're. I can't tell you.
I'm asking, why am I watching again if I already know all the outcomes? There's no point in watching it. The only possibility they could have put Gunther up against would be returning Brock Lesnar. That would at least put a shadow of a doubt. Even though you still pretty much figure he ain't leaving Berlin without that belt.
Right.
At least at that point, man, Brock's back. It is Brock. Just like Goldberg shocked the fuck out of us when he beat Brock.
Yeah.
Didn't think that was going to happen. And that's the thing. That gave some legitimacy to certain big names coming together, because who thought Goldberg was going to beat Brock Lesnar at this point in their careers, right? You go back to WrestleMania 20, maybe. So, yeah, I mean, I have no reason to watch it other than the fact that I'd kind of like to see what the Berlin crowd looks like and hear the pop for Gunther, that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to sit there for 3 hours. I'll wait for it to be done. I'll watch it the next day, and I'll fast forward through 90% of it and just watch a couple of key points, and that's it. Is there any title on the line that might change hands?
I don't think. No,
is the U.S. title on the line? Because he ain't losing it.
No, I don't think it is.
Intercontinental title on the line? He ain't losing it. Tag team titles on the line? They ain't losing it. Well, I don't know. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. Like I said, we're going to just bounce around today. I got no agenda. I have said, what was the WrestleMania where Shawn Michaels retired Flair? 25-ish here in Orlando.
Yeah, right around
From
there.
That day, I said, these ringside tables need to fucking go and replace them with real tables. Because Shawn almost killed himself with that top rope elbow, because that front plate to the fucking table never breaks evenly. It doesn't even break, collapses. Let's use the right word. They're not designed to break. Okay. They're designed to collapse.
Yeah.
And they're designed like shit, because I have seen so many times, I've seen people powerbomb a guy on the table and it collapses, and that front table shoots right out, hits him in the kneecaps, hits him in the shins. I've seen Shawn Michaels, who already sat out 6 years with a back injury, comes back, comes off the top rope, elbow through the table, and that board just didn't give. The rest of the table did. And man, I take it back. The table didn't give on that one. He just took that edge and right into his back. What the fuck? And then you see what happened to Jacob Fatu. The second it happened, I kid you not, the second it happened, I immediately said he's hurt, and then he started grabbing his leg. And I said, no, that's not an act. You could see
I went
about it.
Yeah, I went back and I watched it like 3 or 4 times.
I didn't need to
try to catch. Well, I did, because I wanted to see exactly where it hit and how it hit and everything like that. So yeah, I mean,
prime time. Good to have you back here, buddy. Missed you. Yes. Again, we're going to have all these conversations on Amendment 1. Kevin, join us.
Jesus Christ. I haven't seen that. I'm going to have to go look.
Oh, Lord, yes. And I remember this when it was happening in real time. This was like on the news. People like Jim Cornette thought that was a good idea.
Guess what? I've got my paintball guns, and I don't use a restrictor on mine.
Yeah, mine doesn't shoot paintball. Matter of fact, it's always right here on my hip, including right now. First asshole wants to come into the door is going to have a serious case of lead poison.
But back on Bash at Berlin, honestly, the only match I'm interested in seeing is the mixed tag now with Damian and Rhea and Liv and Dom.
Oh, I didn't know they had that match signed up. That's a good one. I would see that. I'd want to watch that.
They just made that last night. So
okay, so that's something I'd want to watch. Matter of fact, I did a little video this morning from my universe mode. What I'll do now is I might just get the itch to play a universe out. And then what I'll do is I'll just chop it up into like a 10-minute video because I'm doing these
Right.
hour-long streams, and then people come by and watch them, but they're only watching 8 to 10 minutes. They're fast-forwarding through all of it, which I get. I wouldn't do it any other way either. So I'm like, why don't you just cut it down to the highlights of the show and put it out there in a music video, and that's it. So that's kind of what I've done with some of that stuff. But I almost booked that match for today's, and I was like, I'll save that for later. And now you told me someone else already took it. And I'm like, fuck, there it goes.
But yeah, because it's really the only one that's going to further any kind of storyline, because Finn's going to get involved, and then that's going to further do that between Finn and Damien, and of course Rhea and Liv there and stuff. So that's the only one that really interests me at the moment.
Yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to that. That's a good one right there.
Yep.
Darth, soon, very soon. I've been collecting information. I've been collecting videos. I got to chop them up a little bit and make them palatable so we don't have to sit through hours of stuff. But, yep, it's going to be happening. And I will definitely, now that I'm back on Twitter, I'm just not posting fuck on Twitter. I'll just post links that I'm going live, and, you know, I'll use them for the tool that they are. That's all they're worth. And then I'm thinking to myself, why do I even get, you know what? Me posting video, or me posting rather a response to this piece of shit guy who thinks he's got to compete with women, I can just come here and do it. I don't need fucking Twitter. And that goes back to Amendment 1, because that's something I would have took that video and just made an episode out of it.
Right.
And said anything I damn well wanted, and fuck you, Elon. And I'm sure if Elon heard all this and saw the post that I had, he'd be like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have, that shouldn't have been flagged. That shouldn't have. But it did, because you fired everybody. And if that's the way you want to take care of the government, thanks, but no thanks. Wiley, what's up? Now we got to catch up, Jay. We're going to get you on an episode of Amendment 1 here coming up soon. I was just recapping that I was banned on Twitter X for probably the last 9 days, I guess, give or take, because I refused to remove a post, even though they remove it anyway. So what the fuck?
Right.
And when it comes to the wrestling stuff I was doing on this channel, that's pretty much wrapped up. I'm not doing too much of that anymore. I'll do quick highlight videos like the one I posted earlier today, but that's going to be like once every couple weeks, maybe. I will definitely hit you up. I would love to have a set time, but I can tell you this, after Saturday, I've got like 9 days off. I'm taking the last of my vacations of the year, simply because I'm not sure how much longer we're going to have this contract at this point. It seems like the place I worked for that hires my company, they've been playing some interesting games lately where even my boss is like, is it just me, or is he sounding a little weird? I was like, yeah, and I work with him all the time. So for you who hardly ever talks to him to notice it, then even my girlfriend, she got a new job now, which frees me up to go wherever I want. And over there, which I could have told you this, I mean, she's a pretty girl, one of the very few females over there in a sales-oriented job. So, yeah, obviously there's going to be guys that are going to test the waters and, you know, make some comments to see how you're feeling about this. You know, nowadays world, you get canceled pretty quick, so you got to be careful what you say. And she's like, you know, it's funny. It just feels kind of weird. And it's like, well, I'll tell you right now, when it feels weird, it's because it is. If you booked a pro wrestling show, what would it look like? Who would be the major stars who wrestle for you? I mean, if we were talking about real wrestlers and, like, you know, somebody just gave me Tony Khan money, I'd take Brock Lesnar in a heartbeat, because he's the hottest property out there, and I'll prove to you, woke motherfuckers, that they'll pay to see him. You know, there's no need to cancel people that shouldn't be canceled. He didn't do a damn thing wrong.
Right.
By everyone's testimony, he didn't do anything. He was offered. Maybe he was going to, but he didn't. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Like I said, back when this shit all went down, I thought about holding up the bank, but then I didn't. You can't arrest me for thinking about it. So I would start with Brock Lesnar right out the bat. I would love to get, presuming that like contracts don't matter anymore, money is no issue, and I can hire, any 10 wrestlers I want at top dollar, and then I got to negotiate fees after that. So my top 10 would definitely be Brock Lesnar, and he wouldn't be getting that, 4 times a year thing. He'd have to actually wrestle.
Right.
At least twice a month. Of course, the way he wrestles, it wouldn't be for long. 5-minute match, 10-minute match, done. Drew McIntyre for sure. I would want Cody.
Yeah.
Who else? I'd give LA Knight a shot and a decent run. I would take Dolph Ziggler back. Even though I know he's getting towards the end there, he's still got, gas in the tank. He's still a showman. Real happy that they put the world title on him over an Impact. I haven't watched much of that even anymore.
Well, no, half their guys and girls are over on NXT. So
yeah, they're doing both. Hey, and again, this is why Tony Khan and company keep failing. He does his, forbidden door with the Japanese thing, but Americans don't know the Japanese stars. The majority of them don't know them.
Right.
With Impact Wrestling, the minute they brought Joe Henry out for the first time in NXT, place popped. Now, granted, you're talking about a couple thousand people, but that place popped. When Jordan Grace came out during the Rumble.
Yes.
The place went nuts, and that's almost 20,000 people.
Right.
Or more. Was the Rumble outdoor event? Or was
no,
that
it was indoor. It was
indoor. Okay.
Arena.
So you're looking at 18 to 20,000. And
right.
the place popped. They couldn't believe it. They knew who she was. Take the time. What's this girl that they signed from Japan?
Julia.
Let her come into the Rumble. Crickets. We don't know who she is.
She's a
massive star over there.
Right. And that's why same what they did with Stephanie Valkyra is that as soon as they hired Stephanie, what they do, they sent her out on the tour, house show tour in Mexico and southern United States to get her face shown with the WWE brand, and they're doing the same thing. Well, they were going to do the same thing with Julia, except she got hurt. So once she's
recovered, I was wondering. It's been a while, and I still haven't seen her.
I think it was like, I want to say it was like a wrist break or something like that. Something happened, and it was right after
NXT or prior to NXT.
She was doing like her and I think this is why they did. I think this is why they didn't let Stephanie fulfill her obligations with AAA, is because as soon as Julia signed the contract, she went to do a show for New Japan and got injured.
She got Grant Hill.
Right. So as soon as they signed Stephanie, they said, we don't care about you dropping these other fucking titles. Just give them to them. You're not wrestling these. If you're going to wrestle, you'll wrestle for us. That way, if you get hurt, at least you're doing it under us. So.
Yeah. Grant Hill. I don't know if you remember him with the Detroit Pistons back in the early 90s. He was a big deal. And then we ended up getting him on the Orlando Magic. And then, we signed him knowing he had a really bad ankle injury and had off-season surgery and all that shit, but they signed him anyway for top dollar, Grant Hill money. And everyone was like, are you out of your fucking mind? It's an ankle injury. And sure as hell, he never played for the Magic. He played a handful of games and about a half a season on his last year of the contract and was never Grant Hill.
Right.
Got stuck with the bag on that. That's why I've never understood any major organization signing a talent and then allowing them to finish. I get the, sportsmanship of it all. And the, as wrestlers, that's the thing we do. We fill out the contracts and we honor our, but you just got hired by a new company. It's going to pay you a lot more money.
Yep.
There should be like a little thing in the contract saying it. But if I get signed by the WWE, I'm probably going to say no. Purist, what's up, buddy? You're going to have a PLE in Italy, huh? I hadn't heard that one yet. Have you?
I haven't. No, not yet.
I mean, I figured they were because now they're just going to all these foreign countries and getting hot crowds.
I mean,
because they've been starved.
Yeah.
Would I bring in Alex Hammerstone? Let me tell you, Darth, not in my top 10, no. And I'm not real happy at all with what I've seen of him in Impact. They had him lose to Eric Young. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck off. Fuck off. Okay, so let's talk about this. Look at the episode that I posted this morning, right? The episode I posted this morning, going back to when I was still doing the shows, the 2K shows, right? I said I never, and I kept the Intercontinental title on Gunther. I said I would never take that title off him at Mania to Sami Zayn. No, absolutely not. So what did I do? I had him held that title all this time until today's episode. Spoiler alert. And I give it to Braun Breaker. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker. Who should be the one to topple the giant? Who should be the one to end the longest reign in Intercontinental title history? The guy who was long past the top of the mountain, or the guy you just brought in to make him a monster? That's a real question.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? So now he beats Sami Zayn. That's not the same. Nowhere near the same. And it's also not as good for Gunther. Gunther gets beat by this guy who hits the ropes at 23 miles an hour, cuts you in half, and then you go on, you win the world title. And now down the road, hey, remember me? I took the Intercontinental title off you. I'm going to take that one off of you too. Ding! It's called money. You can't get that with Sami Zayn. I love Sami Zayn. He's a tremendous in-ring performer. He's a fun guy. He's witty. All that good shit. Do you look at Sami Zayn and go, holy shit, I don't want to run into this guy in a friggin' dark alley? No.
No.
Doesn't mean he can't whoop your ass.
The one you're worried about that now is fucking Bronson Reed. It's about time they fucking push him like a goddamn monster.
Long overdue, man. Long overdue.
And yes, purist, I saw your post. That's the whole reason I just brought it up. Because he did not, I mean, when he did what he did to Seth, I mean, he did the one tsunami. I was like, okay. Climbed up, did it again. I was like, damn, all right. Then he hit 3, 4, 5, and 6. I was like, what the fuck? You know? And then he does it this week again, but to R-Truth. So I'm just like,
R-Truth was on Cody's in Cody's bus doing the what do you want to talk about podcast. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I haven't got to watch it yet.
He's gold. Yeah, I mean, I think Hammerstone's getting screwed in TNA too. I can't figure them out for the life of me. It's like you keep using Moose as a transitional champion. Why? Why? I'm glad that Dolph has the belt. But if you were going to do that, then he could have took it off. Who had it before Moose?
Was that Josh Alexander?
Well, Josh went out with an injury. So was that what the deal was? He went out with the injury and they tournamented it to him or something?
I think so, yeah.
Is that what it was? Okay, because I remember.
Because I can't think of.
You had, what's his name? Macklin had it. Did Macklin lose it to Josh Alexander?
Okay. Actually, maybe Macklin won it in the tournament, then Moose won it from Macklin.
Something like that.
It was all in that same time frame.
And I'm pretty sure they put the belt on Moose before they signed Nick Nemeth.
Yes.
So, okay, from that point, fuck. Now we got this guy that we want to put the belt on, but Moose is your homegrown talent, and he is the most legit thing you have. Hands down, he is a beast who can go. He's a guy who's what, 6'7", 300 pounds, and he can at full speed climb straight up to the top rope, turn around, and hit you with a crossbody.
Right. With
pinpoint precision. and I love Nick Nemeth, but having met him in person, I outweigh him, and I'm taller than him.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't beat him in a fight, but other than that, I got him. Moose is a monster. He walked past me, and his shadow knocked me over. Just saying. Stupid booking is stupid booking. That's all there is to it.
Well, that's always been the what I want to call it, the downside to TNA is that they've always had struggled with their booking after the first 5 years or so.
I don't know. I think Scott D'Amore, I think he'd been doing a good job up till the firing. I'd say he had. So the last 12 months prior to his firing was kind of back and forth. But the 12 months prior to that, when I was all about TNA and Impact back then, right? Man, it was fire. It was absolute fire. With what he had to work with, he was doing a tremendous job.
All right, well, let me put it this way. Those first 5 years that when Jeff Jarrett was still sole owner of TNA, when Raven and young AJ Styles and all of them were in there, those were great. Then we got into the
some of it was great. Samoa Joe,
I really like
AJ Styles was great. Christopher Daniels was great. The Beer Money was great, and the original Los Boricuas Savio, not Savio, but
LAX.
LAX, the original LAX with Hernandez and help me. What's the other ones? Conan and Homicide. Homicide.
Yeah.
Those three original LAX. That was the first group they put together where I was like, that's main event shit right there. Should AEW sign Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin to use a Hurt Business gimmick? The answer is no, they shouldn't. They are going to, okay? Because that's all Tony Khan does is sign ex-WWF talent that he has nothing to do with.
And why wouldn't Shelton take the money? I mean, honestly.
Right. And I'm sorry. Again, sure, he's a great guy to run into, have a beer with, have a conversation with. Has Bobby Lashley ever sold a ticket? He can't talk on a microphone. He can't.
No.
His body's $1 million body, but there's just something about his face that just doesn't connect with me anyway. You look at LA Knight, right? And he's got that grizzly look to him, that kind of scrappy, whatever you want to call it. Bobby just looks like the smoothest lump of clay you ever saw in your life. There's no angst on his face. I mean, you can be bald and pull it off. Look at Austin, right?
Right.
But again, he had that grizzly thing with the beard, the goatee, and the eyes and the stare. And Bobby's wide-eyed and just he doesn't come across to me.
He's very monotone in his talking, so that doesn't help. No. I mean, I like Bobby when he's in the ring, but he can never be the head of a group because he can't be the mouthpiece. Because his he can articulate stuff, but he's just so bland when he's talking, and it's just like fuck.
And even when you had MVP doing that, those days are over, unless you're going to bring managers back in general. Okay, but you've erased all that where the manager used to be the mouthpiece for the guy that couldn't talk very well and couldn't get over.
Except, well, I mean, other than Heyman's the only one around that does that now.
But he doesn't have to is the difference. Because then Roman takes the microphone from him. And Roman does his own thing.
Right, and even when he broke off from Brock, Brock was
able
to
his own thing, and he actually came better because he was funny as fuck.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
When he first came out with that cowboy thing with the ponytail and shit, and he was cutting promos, that was some good shit.
Yeah. But it's because he had all those years to work with Heyman, and Heyman got him to that point.
That's the answer.
Oh, you're right. I forgot. Okay, I forgot.
Talk about transitional champions. Alex Shelley, who I love dearly. Met him twice. Great guy. Love him as that tag team. World champion. Glad he got it. He put so many years into that company that he deserves to have his name on their world title. But really, Now, did they sign Nick Nemeth before he dropped that title to Moose? I'd be curious to know that. Because if they had signed him, he might not have appeared yet, which I know he didn't. But if they had signed him and know, hey, he's ours in another 3 weeks, we're going to bring him on TV, then don't put the title on Moose.
Yeah.
Let Moose dethrone Nick Nemeth. Thank you, Baca. I totally blanked on that part. I knew there was someone I was missing.
Yeah, same here.
This is what happens when you change your champion every other month. Fact, man. I tell you what, with the Intercontinental title, let's go right from scratch here. Ready?
Yeah.
Pat Patterson. Who was second? Damn it. Pedro?
Pedro?
No. Was he second?
I thought so.
All right, so then I felt like there's someone missing. Somebody can correct us. I want to say Pat Patterson, Pedro Morales, Morocco, Pedro Morales. Morocco again, then Santana. Santana loses to Macho Man. Macho Man loses to Steamboat. Steamboat loses to Honky Tonk Man. You see where I'm going with this? I can remember the first 6, 7, 8, 10 because they didn't happen every other week. Each of those names had a 1-2 year run with their title. I was watching on the network. They had a special on the Intercontinental title history, greatest Intercontinental champions of all time. Didn't mention Tito Santana. I'm like, fuck you all. How you could have that conversation and not talk about Tito Santana is beyond me.
Oh, so, okay. I had to look it up. There was one in between Pat Patterson and Pedro Morales.
Who?
Ken Patera.
Really? Oh, I wouldn't have had that one.
Yeah. He held it from April 21st to December 8th when Pedro beat him. Then it was Don Morocco, then Pedro, then Don, then Tito, Greg, Tito.
And how about that alone? How about that alone? Don Pedro, where you had to go to the show because it might happen again. You might see a winner. You didn't know who's going to win or not.
Yeah, because it was the only show they had was WWF on MSG Network. That was it. So, but looking at like
three cities where you were going to lose a title: Boston, Philadelphia, and New York. That was it.
Yeah. So, but just looking at the title reigns, it was like, okay, Pat Patterson, September 1st, 1979 to April 21st, 1980. Ken Patera had it from April 21st to December 8th. Then Pedro had it from December 8th to June 20th of 81. Then Don had it until November 23rd of the same year. Then got it back from Pedro January 22nd of 1983. There was almost a 2-year
and that feud never stopped. That feud never stopped, man. I remember that feud very well. It was ugly. I mean, they were biting each other, and they were scrapping the shit, and the Garden would always have cops filling in the ring.
Right. And then after that, that's when they changed over to being the World Wrestling Federation, and Tito won it January 11th, 1984.
Yeah, Juan, I didn't forget Greg Valentine. I just didn't get past Tito Santana.
Right. Greg, Tito, Randy, Ricky, Honky Tonk Man, Ultimate Warrior,
I
Rick Rude, Ultimate
Greg.
Warrior.
I did skip Greg in that case. I forgot. All right, you got me. And again, that was by accident because I totally know that I've mentioned it before. My all-time favorite feud in wrestling history, Greg Valentine, Tito Santana for the Intercontinental title, was the perfect feud. 2-year run, ending in a steel cage with an ending you never saw before.
Yeah,
a great ending.
Their feud started February 11th, 1984. And ran till January 6, 1985, where they went back and forth for those year or so.
And it was brilliant, too, because Santana had to have real-life scope surgery on his knee, right? So, of course, they write him out with Valentine putting the figure 4 on him and not releasing it after winning the title and putting Santana out. And then they show you him going to the hospital and the surgery and all the stuff that they never did before, right? This was all groundbreaking. And I remember every minute of it. I was such a fan of Santana's, and I hated Valentine, you motherfucker, what you did. And when Santana came back, and I was pissed that he didn't challenge for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, that it was a JYD. I was so mad. I was like, how in the hell did you not put him back in the ring with this guy? And then after that, they had a series of matches at the Garden, including a lumberjack match where Valentine comes off the ropes and they bang heads together. Santana and gets knocked out, and then Valentine's out too, and he just happens to fall on top of him.
Oh, I remember that match now. Yeah,
I'm telling you, I remember every match. I actually have, I think it's a 2 DVD set that I made myself with all the matches I could find from the entire series, from whatever arenas they were in, and I just put them all on DVDs. And now that we're talking about it, I'm going to probably go pop them in and watch them later on because they were all fucking amazing matches. Yeah. And you felt like these two guys hate each other. And that's how it was done when it was done. TNA dropped the ball on ABC. I have no knowledge of what we're talking about. Did they have an ABC deal on the table? Because that's huge.
No. It's a tag team.
Oh, ABC, of course.
Yeah.
Now I got you. I don't know.
It'd be cool.
Did they split them up? I thought they were back together and doing their thing. They did have them go head to head. I know. I saw that match, and it was a good match. I personally, I would love to see them go in as a tag team to the WWE. I would love to see that. I'd be terrified to see them go to AEW. Oh, yeah, I remember that so well, too. The Boston Garden match with Savage. It was on USA Network as part of like Tuesday Night Titans or one of those shows. It wasn't Titans. That was before Titans. It was when they had the highlights meaning certain matches from the card at the Garden, Philadelphia, and Madison Square Garden. And I forget what the show was called. It was prior to being renamed Tuesday Night Titans.
Right.
All American Wrestling or something like that. But it was on USA Network, and I remember watching it and seeing that, and I was like, fucking Stevie Wonder could see what he did. This is before I realized how, it's part of the act. It was real to me, damn it. But I was so pissed. It's like, all right, he's going to get it back from him the same way he got it back from Valentine. And it's true what they say. It's all about the chase, because now I'm invested. I want to see him get the title back. I think Hogan proved, though, you don't have to be the one chasing as a babyface.
Right.
And Bruno proved it. You can have a long-time fan favorite champion and have him being chased by everybody. You just have to have good heels. The Iron Claw, it's basically, of course I saw it. We reviewed it here on the channel.
Yep.
The day that it was released, I went and saw it and did a review. I wasn't blown away by the movie itself. Obviously, we already knew the story. Most of us knew the story anyway, about the Von Erichs. So I was kind of emotionally invested in real time when it was happening. And I didn't even know of them more than the magazines, because being in New York, you had no access to WCCW at that time.
See, that was the only drawback I saw for the movie, was if you didn't know their whole story and stuff, there was like when they led up to the motorcycle accident, but didn't tell you about the accident. So you're like,
yeah, they did a really bad job on that. A really bad job.
But other than that, I mean, I was okay with the movie. I just think they needed to add a little bit more here and there and maybe take something
like the
out
fact that he was
out.
coming back from a drug deal, that kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
Actual facts. Not that he went out celebrating his title win. ABC should have had a longer tag team title on TNA. By TNA standards, I think they had a 3-year run, didn't they? It's like dog years. Every one is 7. And, I was saying this. We just had a toy convention this past weekend where I work. I sold an entire box of my shit.
Nice.
Some of it for cash, some of it for other shit.
Well, I mean, it happens.
I took a whole box, walked away with $40 and 2 boxes. One of which is the Funko Pops Hulk Hogan and Mr. T from WrestleMania 2-pack.
Okay. Yeah.
What was the other item? Oh, Goldberg Elite.
Okay.
For my Elite collection. I was like, how do I not have Goldberg in my Hall of Fame? So I was like, all right, because he only had $100 cash on him. I mean, I had everything was mint in box, never open. I had the NASCAR with Sting.
Okay, yeah.
Which was about 12 inches long, whatever they are, 8
Yeah.
inches long, I guess. So I had the NASCAR with Sting. I had the NWO NASCAR. I had the Four Horsemen box set with Benoit and Malenko and all that. He sold that within the first 30 minutes. He put it on the shelf. The Dennis Rodman WCW figure with the Slam Masters, whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah.
And the same guy who bought the box really looked at the Rodman piece and he's like, that is the straightest card I've ever seen. It's like it came out of the factory. I said, yeah, I try to take care of my shit. So I know he's going to sell it if he hasn't already. And he's probably going to buy more off of me next time he comes through. So we got numbers and all that. But
there you go.
Not sure how I got on that. I told you we got no direction here. How did we get onto that? We were talking about ABC tag team. Nah, I can't remember anymore.
No,
ready for Ultra Pro Wrestling. I don't care anymore. I'm not worried about it anymore because I'm not doing anything with this stuff anymore. It doesn't really matter a whole lot to me. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that. There was some bad feelings a little bit too, but I don't care anymore.
I mean, me personally, I'm just to the point where it's a holding pattern. If they get it out, cool. If they don't get it out, so they got my $70. I'm good. It's whatever.
You gave them a lot more than that.
No, I went back and looked. It was something else I spent a lot more on. I got their $70 pack.
So. Yeah, because I remember you saying like 200. I was like, you should get a belt for that. That was like the belt
right
deal.
Yeah. No, I went back through my I bought a lot of stuff in that one time frame and they got it kind of all confused. But yeah, I got with the $70, I got the key to get the game, and I got a free entrant to the raffle they did, and there was something else. I get the demo for free and stuff when it comes out and everything.
Yeah, it's coming out on Steam as a demo real soon.
No, they just sent a thing and said it got pushed back.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. When it comes out, it comes out. If it don't,
and that's only going to be a demo anyway, so you're only going to have like 2 to 4 characters, I think. I did see their most recent little promo spot, which still featured my voice in it, and I'm like, Wonder if I should say something about that.
Maybe.
Brock Anderson going to MLW. What's that?
Pin me, pay me.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Brock Anderson's going to MLW. AEW dropped the ball on Arn Anderson's son. I don't know what they did. I saw nothing in him.
I don't even remember him wrestling much, so I couldn't tell you how he did or not.
Back in the early days of AEW, they put everybody on between Dark and Evolution and Dynamite and all that shit. So he had a period of time when he was with the Nightmare Family thing with Cody still there. That's how far back we're going. He definitely got TV time, and he wasn't good. I mean, he's a young kid. He's early on. Yeah. Not all that many people can come out the gate really at that level of the game like a Randy Orton could. Right. Or John Cena. Those are the rarities. He's not a rarity. He was a young kid who was green, who probably shouldn't have been on national TV yet. He doesn't have a good body. He doesn't. Let's just call it like it is. His dad had a better body.
Goddamn. Okay.
So, if you want to do this for real, man, hit the gym. Get a tan. What did Dusty say that made me laugh so fucking hard? Fat don't look good white.
But that goes back to what the Priest documentary.
Yep.
He said,
I was shocked. At one point in time, if you haven't seen this documentary, at one point in time, Damian Priest was 400 pounds. How in the hell? He lost over 80 pounds when he went into FCW the second time.
Right. And the fact that he came out and said, I didn't think about doing this seriously until others said, you're fucking fat, lose the weight if you want to do this,
Yeah, I guess the mirror wasn't talking loud enough.
Well, like he said, also, he was going through a lot of depression and stuff at that time, too. So that can fuck with you.
Living in your car will do that.
Yeah. So, but
sometimes I tell you what, I was never a huge Damien fan, but seeing this, I definitely like him more now. I see this other side of him, hearing his story and how much he put into getting where he's at right now.
Yeah.
And I always respect people that can lose a large amount of weight, because I got the same 7 pounds I've been trying to lose since January. Granted, that's all my fault. I'm just saying. It takes a certain mental thing and a discipline and a dedication. And to lose 80 pounds, that's work. That's a person.
Yeah. But I get where he was coming from, because me personally, if somebody from the outside my realm says, hey, why you're fucking up, this is what you need to do, I'll listen to that more than I'll listen to myself. So I get how other people telling him drop the weight, you'll do better, would resonate with him as opposed to looking at himself going, oh, I'm okay. So
did you guys ever listen to WCW Slam Jam? Never even heard of it. Is that like a CD with music on it?
I don't know. Or is it a podcast?
That's what I was originally thinking, but then when I heard Slam Jam, I said, it sounds like one of those compilation CDs.
Let's go to the internet. WCW Slam Jam. Oh, it's an album.
I was right. Give me the point. In that case, I might have it.
Well, it's back when Ron Simmons and all of them were there, because one of the songs on it is Don't Step to Ron Simmons theme.
No, I would remember if I had that then. No, I don't have that one.
Yeah, it's got Sting, Ron Simmons, and Ravishing Rick Rude on the cover.
Nope, that one I don't have. Poor Kip Saban stuck in AEW. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. I've heard the name. It's the best I can tell you.
Yeah, he ain't getting out of there anytime soon.
Well,
Kip Saban kind of looks like Joe Hendry in a way. He's got the same blonde hair, a little bit of the goatee and stuff. So I think he's a little bit thinner than Hendry is, but yeah, at a glance, I can get them two confused a little bit. So
Joe Hendry is announced at 280, and I'm like, I've been next to the guy several times now. It's possible. I never would have believed. Like, if somebody said guess his weight and I'm standing there, I wouldn't have said 280. I would have said probably 245. That would have been my guess. But yeah, I mean, I could totally be wrong about that. So no, I've never heard Slam Jam. I've got a bunch of the other ones though. I've got all of the. I got Pile Driver and Rock and Wrestling.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of other. I don't know. Got them around here somewhere. I'm trying to remember where I put my. I usually keep like those separate. No, I can't think of where though at the moment. But I probably got about a total of 9 or 10 discs back when the WWE was releasing the music of WWF Volume 1, 2, 3, and all that. So I had Farouk's theme, but I didn't have Ron Simmons. And then I haven't looked lately, but maybe I should do this real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
I've been paying for it. I don't know why. Patreon. Jumping over to WrestleNomics right here because I haven't looked, but I've heard that the ratings are really in the toilet right now.
All for AEW.
Yeah.
Who was I listening to? I was just listening to somebody within the last couple of days, and he was talking about how can you be excited about being on a show as the world. He was talking about Swerve. He's like, you have Swerve Strickland wrestling somebody from Japan that nobody knows on Collision, and you want to get excited about it when only 3,000 or 300,000 people are watching Collision on a given week.
I always have a lot of trouble navigating their Patreon for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, Vince is looking that up. Prime time best wrestling movie of all time. Oh no,
The Wrestler, Mickey Rourke. If you want the best one, now if you want my favorite one, it'd still probably be The Wrestler. But after that, they're just really bad guilty pleasures. Like what was Hogan's first?
No Holds Barred.
No Holds Barred is right up there. Body Slam, which we watched and reviewed.
Right.
Those are probably the two that I would immediately say are my favorites, and they're just terrible.
Yeah.
But they're
I'd have to
Body
agree with
Slam is
that,
probably the one though, because it's bad with all the right people.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So
like you said, if you want a good movie about the life of a professional wrestler, yes, The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, I would say is right up there. Now, if we go into television series, is the series that Heels off of Showtime. That oh crap, I can't think of his name. He was the star of Arrow on the CW.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one either.
It's actually really good. CM Punk and AJ Lee both played on it a few times in the first and second season. It's more aimed at they're a family that runs an independent league and stuff. So they're always playing in like the bars and the smaller venues and stuff like that. So makes you really think of the territory days. So I like that myself.
All right, so going to the Patreon page doesn't work. Maybe if I go to the other one, I think is what it was. I presume they're still billing me. I haven't looked in a while, but all right, here we go. Let's see. I'm not going to break down quarter hours and all that stuff because I just don't care. Wow. Wow. Fire sale on aisle 10. All right, let's go back several weeks, shall we? Going back to July 26th. The WWE on SmackDown drawing 2 million. And in our key demographic that everybody loves so much, they have a 0.52. On the next night, AEW Collision, 382,000. Not even a $500,000.
Nope.
And you ready for the key demo? 0.12.
Oh.
I think my show that I aired earlier today did better than this.
Probably.
4 nights later, AEW Dynamite, 609 with a 0.18. As I'm reading this, all I can remember is, like 6 years ago when they were doing like a DX reunion and Billy Gunn was there for it. And Triple H took the mic. He says, Hey, be careful what you say before the old man buys that pissant company of yours and fires you again.
Right.
August 2nd, AEW Rampage, 209. I'll say the word 1,000 just so it doesn't sound like 209 because it could have been. You ready for the key demo? I'm going to let you guess.
0.5.
Fuck you. You're close. 0.7. 0.7.
Yeah.
If you were a patient and that was coming across the EKG, they'd say pull the plug. They'd say pull the plug. We lost them. 5 nights later, Dynamite. 622. Well, it's up from 609. Once again, SmackDown, 2,200,000. That's on August 9th. Same night. Oh, head to head with Rampage.
Yeah.
219.
Mm-hmm.
Collision, 370. Monday Night Raw, not a great number for them, but AEW would kill for it. 1.9. 1.9 mil. With a 63 in the key demo. So that part was better.
Right.
At this point in time, why are you still... Oh, that's how we got onto this. I was talking about the guy that was selling the figures. So me and him are getting into this conversation about the business, and then another vendor comes over that he knows, and he's also into this stuff. He sells more of the bobblehead dudes, whatever you call those things, Popo Funks or Funko Pops.
Yeah, Funko Pops.
But we're all talking, I mean, as much wrestling as you and I do right now, right?
Right.
And, of course, the subject comes up of, is Shane McMahon looking to buy? Is Vince going to buy with Shane? Bah, 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 bah. I didn't know these numbers. I knew they were going down. I didn't know these numbers. Had I known these numbers, I would have said buy. You'd have to pay them to take it.
Right.
This is an absolute dumpster fire. Oh, this is so bad. I mean, I almost feel bad taking shots at them now.
I don't. I mean, when you book to a niche audience, this is what you get. You have to understand you're based in the United States. So book for the United States. And then when you go overseas, like WWE does, they book according to where they're going. It's not that fucking difficult.
Yeah, for some reason it's saying I need access. I'm going to have to look at my bank account a little bit more closely to see if they're still charging me or not. I was thinking about getting rid of it anyway since I'm not using it for anything.
Right.
But if I've been paying for it, the same thing with StreamYard here, which I haven't used in, 2 months?
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. But that's when I was thinking about it. I says, why am I going to start on Rumble? Which, it's just not worth the headache in my book. Damn, those are bad numbers. The fuck, AEW?
I guarantee you when NXT debuts on October 1st on CW, they will do at least, I'll say, between 500,000 and 600,000. And that's the third brand for WWE, not the major brand.
What brand are we talking about?
NXT, October 1st, will be going to
NXT.
the CW. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do better. No doubt about it. Heels was a good show on Stars. I'd seen commercials for it. I wasn't going to buy a network just to watch that. It did look like it would be good.
The same way. Yeah.
And now that they're canceled, so what? They only do one season, so that means no DVD set.
No, they were able to get 3 seasons. I
Did
believe.
they?
Yeah.
Well, if they are smart and put out a DVD set, I might want to get that.
I think I haven't looked, but I'm sure there is one out there.
Probably is.
But yeah, I mean, it was really well written, and it was a good show. What I got to see of it, yeah.
Thanks, Primetime. I appreciate you, buddy. I've been watching AEW, been watching NXT. Yeah, I was kind of watching NXT for a bit. And my only real draw to that show is Fallon Henley, who should not be on that brand anymore, man. They need to move her up. She is way too good for that. That's a developmental area. There's nothing wrong with that. But she's developed. Her in-ring work is really solid.
Yeah.
Put her with people that can make her better than she is.
Okay, so again, I just mentioned about them moving to a national TV deal. Don't take all your people to these other 2 brands. Leave a nice core of experienced people down there.
So you're going to punish her?
It's not. Don't. I guarantee
it is
you
a punishment. She's not making the same money. It's a punishment. There's no other way to talk about it.
You don't know. She hasn't done a contract renewal yet. She could get a raise.
You think they're going to pay her main event money on NXT?
If they pull numbers higher than their fucking competition does, they will pay them.
I cannot imagine a person whose home base is NXT is going to draw what they would get on SmackDown or Raw. You just don't have the same advertising dollars. WDB is never going to come up with that kind of money. Not for the NXT product, because at the end of the day, at least half your roster are people that are coming up in the business. They're non-established names that people already recognize. So you're not going to get the casual fans that, I recognize that one. That's so-and-so, or, John Cena, blah, 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 which is part of the reason I think they were doing these appearances by Cena and The Undertaker and stuff on NXT, where there would be some recognition and draw some of the old fans maybe back that hadn't been watching in a while. Prime time's catching up with the old stuff. Well, enjoy it, man. Like I said, with some of it in the universe mode, I'll still dabble once in a while and then just chop it all up and pop it out like I did today. And we did do one semi-stream a few weeks ago where it was a SummerSlam edition, kind of a mix of the XWF
Right.
and that kind of bringing some of that story back in. But it wasn't the way I normally do it. For me, this was just a hobby that I enjoyed for a long time, but the things that are happening now are just really preoccupy me. And
Right.
I feel like for me to do this the way I was doing it is more of a distraction from what I should be focusing, whatever voice I have, whether that be through here or just in my own community. A friend of mine that I used to work with is running for local as in state senator, and I'm helping him with his campaign. Yeah, so there's stuff like that I just feel like it's time for us to really take the next step, because if the next step doesn't work, then we got to take the next step after that, and that ends badly.
Right.
Can't wait for NXT to be on CW. Did we have a date?
October 1st.
October 1st. I figured they have to have a date.
It's a Tuesday. Yep.
Tuesday night, 8:00.
Yep.
That's
2
what I
hours,
guessed.
8 to 10.
2 hours is plenty. Plenty. And what's their competition? Is that Dynamite? Or Dynamite's what, Friday? I can't keep track of their shit.
Dynamite's Wednesday. They'll have no competition on.
Oh, there's no AEW go head to head with?
Nope.
Oh, what a shame. Would have loved to see NXT blow them out the door in the first week.
Right.
Did they almost have CW, or was that Impact that blew that?
it was TNA, or it was
TNA
NWA that blew it.
Oh, NWA, that's right, because they did the cocaine scene during the during the pay-per-view. Dumb fuck.
Yeah, and CW said nope.
What, doing coke off a table with a bunch of whores is not family-friendly TV? They got drag shows for kids. Drag queens reading stories to children in libraries. I mean, I thought this is all good now. All these people losing their fucking minds that if Trump wins, he's going to declassify a lot of shit. And boy, oh boy, the head's going to roll, and they know it. Tom Hanks is already getting ready to move into that other house he has over, and I forget what country. As soon as that Epstein list pops out, Disney's going to have some real editing to do. What was his name? Woody. Yeah, that's right. He's Woody, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy. Stop the world. I want to get off. That should be the name of the podcast.
There you go.
Instead of Amendment 1, stop the world. I want to get off. All right. Well, I think that's it for this one. Hour and 39 minutes. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it was.
a good one. With absolutely no direction really whatsoever.
But we did cover
we covered a lot of shit. It's good.
Yeah.
Stuff that I wasn't even planning on.
Yeah, because I'm hoarse now.
You wish you was a horse.
She wishes I was a horse.
There you go. Actually, women always say the same thing. I don't know where they came up with that thing. That when women want it bigger, that shit hurts. Nuh-uh, you ain't putting that near me.
Just looking at it.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us here in the chat. It always makes it a lot more fun when you guys are throwing stuff at us. And I kind of like this no direction format. I might stick with it. And look for Amendment 1 very soon. Like I said, next week I got a lot of free time. I'm going to start doing some editing, putting some stuff together that I can use over several episodes. And I love to hear from, and I don't care which side of the aisle you want to come from, because I'd love to see arguments being made. My dad was just here visiting for the first time in a while. Yeah, and I just, he's the only one left that I will still talk to. Everyone else in my family, if they're supporting this ticket, I will have nothing to do with it. I posted stuff on my Facebook that was brutal. I don't care if you're a blood relative or not. If you are supporting this side, do not talk to me anymore. Remove me from the list. I have no desire to have anything to do with you anymore. Because it has got to that point.
Right.
This is not a matter of, this isn't like the old Dem. I'm trying to remember who the guy was on TV the other night. Former Dem, now he's a Republican. And they said, when did you leave the Democrat Party? And he said the quote that I've heard other people use. I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me. And he's right.
Yeah.
I voted for Clinton twice. I voted for Reagan before that.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing. And that's what I try to get through to my parents. I was like, yes, you have been a Democrat all this time, but these people are not what you remember as being a Democrat.
Close. And how do you not know that?
Yeah. But
if you don't know this, and when you see all these people being interviewed, who are you supporting? Oh, I'm with Kamala. Why? What policies has she done that you support? I just think it's time for a black woman. Oh, my fucking God. You just think because of the color of her skin and the fact she's female makes her presidential candidate?
Right.
How stupid are you? And I love Kamala now. On day one was 3 years ago, you dumb bitch.
Right.
And that's not even being mean or anything. She is a dumb bitch. She can't form sentences. At least Biden has an excuse.
Right.
He's mentally deficient. Alzheimer's. What's her story? Too much cum?
Well, she did start off as an escort at the Diddy white parties. I've seen the videos of her.
Dude, I want everyone to think about this one thing, and then we'll say goodnight. We are right now looking at a presidential candidate representing one of the two major factions who has received 0 votes in her entire political career. And she's gotten now onto the ticket and is a dangerous step away from the White House, and nobody has voted for her. Not one person has ever voted for her. That should scare the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Scares me. And we've established that Biden is not the president. So who is? She's too stupid. So if it ain't her, it ain't him. Who's got the keys to the car? All right.
I have my theories, but we ain't going to do that here today.
Nah, we'll do it on Amendment 1 real soon. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you real soon. Unless I get canceled first. You never know. Shit happens.
Yeah,
What else are you going to say?
Right.
Say goodbye, Jay.
Goodbye, Jay.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Nation Network for more WrestleChat or Amendment 1. Pick your poison. Actually watched a little bit of AEW. Not a lot. Just enough to remind me why I don't watch it. Oh, this is already funny. Just the headline. The list of moves and actions that are now banned from AEW or need to be approved by the company.
Maybe that's why Nash is pissed off, because he went for Brock and Austin and not try to duplicate him.
Well, it'd be easier to duplicate him. You only have to learn 5 moves.
Like you said, and we've all been saying, Tony Khan, you need a hierarchy, and he gets one, and then we make fun of it.
Because he's sitting back there talking about the Brock match, and finally we had a wrestling match. Finally we got 2 guys telling a story. They weren't outside in the ring the whole time. One of them
Was he not watching the same match as we were?
Yeah, those games, man, I would say, like, for me, like, the best ones, I would say, are, like, the ones where they try to get a certain, like, time.
This is my entire IT team right here on screen. Everybody.